Hey everybody, it's your friend Sarmate here, and we're back with another episode of Settlement Survival. I hope you're having a fantastic and amazing day today. We have a lot of issues going on. We saw them in the last episode kind of accumulating and starting. We have to address them in this episode. There's a lot of things going on, and we can't really progress until we address these things. So just right off the bat here, we have, as you can see, very low food. It doesn't really matter what time of year it is, we're always kind of low food right now. We have all of these farms operating right now. A couple of these are running cactuses, and we do have 2 cactus workshops, well, 3 on the way here, the third one on the way. The one is making cactus cuts, one of them is taking cactuses and making them into medicinal powder, and then the third one we're going to be using the cactuses to make fodder. So those are the 3 things I want to do with cactuses, kind of all coming from right in here. So we have that set up. Of course, we have this field way over here, and I did add in additional farms down here. Only one of them operating right now because we don't have a whole lot of workers. So what I want to do first is get more workers. So what we're going to do, as you can see here, we're really close on the timeline for getting new immigrants, which is great. The problem that comes up is we're, of course, having to feed them. So food is an issue. Let's go through the issues before we really get into it. We need more people. Water seems to be doing okay. We need to keep our eyes on that a little bit longer to make sure that we are okay. We're plus 500 for now. We'll see though. Timber's great, and then stone and iron are pretty good. And then clothing is another big issue. And then domestic fuels is a huge problem. The winter came around last year. We had so many people dying from freezing to death. It's stupid. So we have to address it. Okay, so we know the issues, and we're gonna take some steps to getting them. So the first step, of course, is having the workers to deal with the problems. So we talked about the fields over there, and there's a couple of things that I'm going to step back production of while we are looking for more workers. We're going to take out some rope workers, textile mills, clay, and sand gatherers. So the first thing right here, textile watermill, we're going to take this person out of there, and it's obviously not going to run now, which is just fine. We are at cap for linens, so I don't really care about that. Over here, we have sand pits. One is getting clay, one of us is getting sand, and as you can see here, we're doing pretty great on sand, over 4,000, and on clay, over 2,000. So we're doing really great on those for now. We have up the cap of bricks and glass to 1,000. We're sitting pretty good, 500. So we're about halfway there. So those are going to continue to run for a while, and then we probably won't run out of clay and sand with those running without anything new coming in, which is perfect. And then, of course, our fuel factory here is just sitting here with 500. We are at cap with that. Okay, so we got the textile mill, clay, and sand thingy doodlers taken care of. And then the last thing I want to deal with is rope. So we have a couple of those things right here. So we were using the rope. We were building ropes in hopes of using Carlos's tier 2 to make the tech points come in a little bit quicker, right? But we have paper since then, and that is doing that job. So we are going to go ahead and turn off this rope worker for now. And those are the facilities that I thought would be okay to step back from for now. There is one farm I do want to adjust up here, but I have to wait until the next year to do that because they've already started planting in it. So we don't really need any more flax seeds. We're at 17,000 flax right now, which is a ridiculous number. So I want to absolutely change that to probably oats, because oats is our kind of our go-to right now. Maybe I'll do it in cactuses just so that we have enough cactuses going on to maintain all these things. I did put in an additional worker over here in this cactus workshop, and you can see there that last year we were at 710 cactus cuts, which is pretty decent. That is a 1 worker number. So this Afra, the second person who's in here now, we will see the fruits of their labor in a little bit here, but this is something that I'm really thinking about putting some more workers into because of those cactus cuts. We looked at those a little bit in the last episode. But as you can see, meat pops all over the place. So we know about it. We are in the process of addressing it. So back over here, I always do this. I build a bunch of farms or something, and then I'm like, why are all my people going away? And it's because they're sitting in the farms. So I'm watching these and making sure that that isn't the case. So right now we have just the 1 farm going. I did put in a compost plant. This should increase the fertilizer of the areas around. So we have this one going for quite some time. So we can look at the comparison between these 2 farms. These are fields, I think. So this one has 782 last year, and this one is 415. So even a partial on this field right here is being beneficial. So I wanted to put one of these guys down here to really benefit. That's going to be up to 4. These guys are farms. So the distinction between fields and farms, in case you don't know, because I was quite confused for a while, Farms are allowing fertilizer, whereas fields do not have that option. But we can upgrade our fields to farm so that we can use fodder. So the fodder that I'm going to be using is going to be created from this cactus workshop that I'm in the process of creating over here. Of course, it's going to take some time to get built up. Lots and lots of meat pops. It's not great. Over here we had 2 pastures. They are now operating with alpaca. Nothing too crazy over here yet. 132 food, and last year 140 on that one. So something, but not a whole lot just yet. Down over here to address our domestic fuel issues. So we know that we have tons of timber, right? We've had timber for a long time now, well over 10,000. We are going to be utilizing 2 water sawmills. These are more efficient than the regular sawmills because they're on the water. We're going to do that, and we're going to really pump out a lot of domestic fuels. Again, we're going to need some more workers to do that. So we're just kind of waiting for these immigrants to get here. And while we are waiting, I think we're going to grab a couple of techs. So because we're at this point right now where we're kind of needing to play a little bit of catch up, I'm going to grab some passive stuff. So nothing too wild in this episode as far as a new industry we're going to get into. This is going to be very much a maintenance-y kind of an episode. So the things that I want to grab are going to be the quicker porter. This is going to be movement speed of logistic workers up 20%. It's pretty good. And the other thing I want to do is go to trade, and then we're going to grab overloader, remodel the caravan to increase its max carrying weight. More trades, more rep, more better. So we're going to go ahead and grab that as well. A couple of things that I'm thinking about for future. I would like to get into the carving workshop. Again, we have tons of timber. I would like to use that timber to make the little statues, because we can use timber to make statues, and then trade that stuff out. I am growing coffee for that purpose right now, but the coffee isn't super profitable, so I'm trying to diversify my portfolio, if you will. So over here we have our trade guys. We did have these out. They have just returned, it looks like. We did purchase some cats, so we are going to have to go back to Carlos and sell to him. We could do that with these new people that are just now arriving. So we are currently sitting at 0 laborers. We're having people die like crazy. Let's just take a quick peek over here. You can see starvation, starvation, starvation. We know it's a problem. Somebody got murdered. The starvation. Yeah, so we are kind of tumbling down into a path of doom. It's not great. So we have to stop. We have to fix these problems before they get even worse. So 19 immigrants on the way. That's going to be awesome. Let's just double check and make sure our farms are still operating with all these people who have just died. I want to have at least 4 people. Here we go. Here's one more that needs a new person. And this one as well. So those will be refreshed and good to go. And we need a worker on this one. So we'll go ahead and we'll put somebody on there. Okay, so let's speed this back up now that we have a handful more workers. So let's get over here, and we need to assign a bunch more farms. So they operate over here. We're going to go ahead and go oats and everything. Do that. And I want to do the fields and farms that are within the buff range around here. So that's why I started with this one. And then let's see, we have 8 laborers left. I think we're just going to hold up with our 8 laborers for now. We don't want to assign everybody away right away like I normally do, because we want to have the laborers, right? So we're gonna have to make do with the 4 that we have, and we're gonna lose a bunch of people in this winter time, unfortunately. That is now upon us, and we'll have to see where we're at now. We're already down to 1 laborer, so it goes so quick. I may have to make an adjustment for maybe our iron gathering here. Let's take these people out of here. We have a decent amount of iron stored up, and I want to have a few laborers running around, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. Back up to 3 laborers. And now we might have to just take a couple of our people out of the research institute. So something we could do, and I have done this before, is we can take the teachers out of our schools. Let's see if I can find a school here. And we would instantly get 18 workers, which would be huge right now for us. But of course, these people that are in the school right now would not be the efficient workers that the school is normally producing for us. If we just cut this off, we're just going to get the workers. And at this point, I'm really tempted to do it. So I think what we'll do, we have 2 other schools going on right now, I think. So that would work out just fine. So let's go ahead and we'll do this, because we're having people die of all the things, of course. I'm going to slow down too the game just a second here, because we're having people die so much. Let's get these people out of here, and you'll see after just a second, unless I change this, of course, we should have some people graduating. You can see that's happening right here. And then this number is decreasing. And with these people coming out of the school, we are going to replace some people who have died here. This isn't the greatest thing to do, but I feel like at this point we kind of need to do it, get some more food started. So we have a farmer that died and a baker died of starvation. So I'm not terribly worried about the baker at this point. Let's go ahead and put a couple more workers over here though, so we're a little bit more prepared for the next season. Oh, speaking of which, I want to go over here and change this flax farm to an oat farm. And I think I'll do it with both because we have such an obscene amount of flax right now and we aren't really doing anything with it. So, okay, 2 more oat seeds. And then we have our chilies here producing the veggies for us over here with our veggie maker. We did that. Oh, well, I guess not. It's just not doing anything. Lots of ice going around, lots of cold people. So that's also not great. I'm going to prioritize this water sawmill. We need to get this up. I don't care about the watermill. We took people out of there. And now, of course, we have people dying, and our tombstones are now run out. And I don't have another graveyard built up because of the amount of death that had happened so quickly here. And of course, now we're at 0 labor. So all those people that we just got from the school are now gone. Up almost 100 people are freezing. We don't have domestic fuels. We need to get these things figured out. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to let this run a little bit. We're going to see how our changes have made some effects, if any. We are in the green with food now, apparently, so we got to keep our eyes on here. And if we have food under control, we will be able to move to a couple other things. I'm also going to look around and see if there's any other industries that we can pull back a little bit and use those workers for domestic fuels mainly, and probably some clothing, because both of those things are abysmal right now. So I'll be back in just a moment. So I've pulled a ton of workers and we're still really struggling. We are in August right now, so we're still waiting for the harvest to happen. But we are looking okay with food now, but I want to see where we're sitting after the season here, after the harvest. Something that I'm thinking about doing is pulling another school and getting 20 workers so that we can start making clothes. As you can see here, our health is really, really bad, 44%, and that's why we're getting these murderers, because we have to be over 50 to prevent that. And the biggest thing that we could do for that is get some clothes. We have currently 0 clothing, so we need to get that happening. We also did get the water sawmill up and operating. I put 3 people in there working really hard trying to get us domestic fuels. They've already done 114. They really haven't been there that long. And we do have some more immigrants on the timeline, which is really good, but they're kind of a little ways out. At least we know that they're on their way. Okay, now we have another winter on the way, and we'll see how we do with this. We had dang near 100 citizens freezing in the last year, and that's partly because they have no clothes. So everybody's running around naked, freezing to death. So one thing that I was considering is, as you can see, we are losing most of our crop here. We have 1 point available for our technologies. Oh, look at that. We got 14 laborers all of a sudden. So somebody, that might have been it. The school just collapsing. Yeah, or the teacher died. So we got a bunch of workers now because the school fell apart. But what I'm talking about, what I was going to say anyways, we're going to go to agriculture and we're going to grab plantations. So this is an additional 25% yield. It's a little bit more expensive things though, but that's okay. We have these things saved up. We can do a handful. We're going to go ahead and get these started, I think. My thought was if we build some more of these advanced farming things, perhaps we will be able to have less workers doing it, and then we'll have enough workers for other things. Okay, so after the harvest, we were at 5,700, and according to this, just enough. So that's okay. And then over here in our cactus workshop, I wanted to update you on our numbers. So remember, this was 710 with a single worker, currently at 1350 for this year, so crushing it. Seasoned fisherman found something, took the bait while fishing, but strangely, it was not strangling like a fish. It only appears to be something very heavy that's hooked, and took some effort to drag it up. Let's take a look. 7 scarecrows. Ooh, okay, so that's going to be good for our new plantations, because we can use those guys to upgrade our plantations. So what I should have done is grab this plantation and then built this around one of our little compost plants here instead of these regular old farms. But too late for that. But we're going to go ahead and get some of these things started at least. I'm thinking about, can we even do 2? Let's see. No, we're not going to have enough. So I think we're going to go stack them like this. We should be able to do that. Yep, that should work. We're going to go ahead and put one here, and we'll put one here, and then we're going to go ahead and drag a road up in between them. And I'll probably do a mirror image on this side and try and snake as many of them back here as we can. This is a decent rock for some mines as well, so it's something to keep in mind that we could do with it at a future time. So let's just hold up for that and let those guys clear it out and do their thing. And then back over here, we have our water sawmill ready to go. I'm going to put another person in there, domestic fuel it, get that happening. And then we absolutely have to get this tailor going as well. So we'll put 2 workers in there. We should have enough items for rough clothes. Let's see. Alpaca wool, 2,300 and 500 leather. Yes, and some linen too. So we're doing pretty great with that stuff. That's good. And we'll get some clothes started with that and hopefully start to address that issue. So it looks like our food is heading in the right direction. I'm not super confident in it just yet. Water's okay. And then we also have a green domestic fuels. So according to this, it's green, but it's also red. So we still need to work on our domestic fuels. So hopefully that new sawmill that we just got operating is going to be able to catch up and be a positive increase on our domestic fuels. I think what happened was I just kept building and building and wasn't thinking about domestic fuels until it's a problem. And then, of course, you have to address it. So that's kind of, I think, what happened there. Looks like our chapel here is currently running without a cleric, and that's not good. So we need to get a cleric in there, and I think what we'll do, we'll just take the salt worker out right now, put him in the chapel. Apparently, we got some collapsing buildings over here. We mentioned the school collapsing over here, so I'm wondering if our repair people have since died off. There it is, the repair shop with nobody in it. So we're going to go ahead and replace that person before a bunch more houses and stuff collapse. You can see there's quite a few wrenches around. We got to get that issue fixed before it gets into a big problem. We'll go ahead and we'll start that operation. And then it looks like our tools are in the red. Let's see how it's going. Yeah, we're about -50. That's a big issue as well. And that's something that we could address with one more worker in the smithy here. Something to keep in mind, though, we aren't really bringing in any more iron ore. So for now, we have a decent stock, but that might not last for too long. So I think what we'll do here, I'm going to take a research institute person out of there, and I'm going to go ahead and put them in this blacksmith here and help that person out a little bit, trying to keep this tool thing figured out before it gets too bad. And I would like to put a couple more people in this cactus workshop if that's the difference of one worker. I would think if we double this, we should have up to 3,000 cactus cuts, which would be insane, because before I thought 1,500 was good. If we can get up to 3,000, that'd be really awesome. Our mines are currently mostly running coal. If it was running iron, I took them out of there. Just additional workers, like I mentioned at the beginning of the cut here, trying to get some more things working again. Okay, we're up to 6 workers now. Let's go ahead and put 2 additionals into this cactus workshop. And we want to check our quantity of cactuses. It looks like we're doing great with that. Wouldn't make any sense to put a bunch of workers in the cactus workshop trying to get us cactus cuts when there's no cactuses to cut. And then we'll go back over here, and I just want to make sure that we don't have any farms that are just sitting here. And it looks like that isn't the case, which is excellent. And then over here, we have a plantation nearly completed. So what I'm probably going to do, we might need to do a little bit of an adjustment here. I would like to replace, slowly, most of these fields and farms over here with plantations. Now, I just took that road out here because, unfortunately, we have 11 by 11s, and these are 8 by 10s. So we won't be able to use the same footprint. We're going to be a little short. So we'll do the couple plantations down here once we are able to replace the farms. So while we're at it, I think I'm going to demo these ones and take that out of there, because this will be done shortly here. Maybe not good enough for this harvest, but for the next one for sure we'll be able to have that plantation running, and then hopefully we'll get the second one going as well. We should also double check our builders. That could be also an issue that we have. We got one builder here. And I also am noticing more and more wrenches. So that one worker that we had in our repair shop isn't quite doing good enough. Let's go ahead and put another worker in that. Try and get some of these wrenches figured out here. We do have plenty of houses right now that are open because, of course, everybody's been dying. So it's not a huge problem if some houses collapse, but we don't want it to be a constant thing. We got to get some stuff repaired around here, especially stuff like pastures. We're hurting so badly on food and stuff. We need to have these things repaired. If we toggle this kind of like so, you can see our guy right here kind of blinks into the blue color. So I do this to try and see if I have a repair shop. You can see we got one right here. So it's not quite where I thought it was up over here, but it is right here. We got one worker in there. Let's go ahead and put another one in there. We do have 7 laborers now, which is awesome. And let's go over here and we'll check to see if we have a repair building. And we do not. So let's get that added in for sure over here. I'm going to put it in about right there. So it captures everything over here. And then I don't think we have a repair shop on this end of town either. So these repair people will be able to deal with both these, and that should be all right. All right, so we'll check and make sure that we don't have any openings in things like the chapel and other things around town that are kind of key pieces. Chapel, clinic, all that kind of stuff. And it looks like we're doing pretty well. I'm trying to stay on top of it, pausing the game every once in a while and just going through our list and making sure that we aren't missing some of those people, because that can lead to problems down the line. Right here, we got a chapel. We need to rebuild it, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to prioritize that as well. Need to rebuild the latrine, and we probably want to add another repair person in there as well. Try and get on top of these damaged buildings here. Prioritize that instead. I need to prioritize the chapel. That's more important, I think. So we'll get this thing built up, but we're going to do the chapel first. Let's put a couple more workers in there. I'm pretty sure I've lost a couple builders. And so that's where we're at for now. 4 laborers. It looks like we're still hurting on tools. That sucks. So we did put one more worker in here, but obviously not quite enough. We're not quite making enough rough clothes. How's that? How's that? No production or consumption? How does that work? That's kind of weird. According to this, oh, these guys are making backpacks? What is going on here? We are not making backpacks. That's not something that we can create. I'm wondering if this is a bug or something. Let's see. Okay, so we got that one tailor there. Don't we have another tailor somewhere around here? Yes, we do, right here. And this guy is also making backpack? Okay, so something's obviously not right there. So we may... Yeah, they got a backpack, but no clothes. Weird. We don't even have processing backpacks completed. It's not processing, it's logistics. We don't even have that tech. So how we are creating it is an issue, of course. So with this batch of immigrants, we are going to have to do some trading, and we will get some clothing. Well, these guys are pretty close. And I was just going to say we had 6 laborers, we could put 4, and then they're gone, of course. So we're not going to end up doing that. But at least we have a couple laborers to replace the people that we have lost. Winter is upon us, so we'll see how we're going to do with domestic fuels. Sitting at 0. We obviously need to add in even more sawmills. I had one up over here that was making planks. I have since adjusted it to making just domestic fuels, but obviously I could put a couple more workers in here. I'm going to grab this, and we're going to create a couple more of these things just to try and get on top of this issue. We'll do one more there by that sawmill, and then let's come over here, and we'll put one more over here as well. And we'll be able to bring some timber over here and get that really operating really well. Food looks okay. It looks like we made it. So food is under control. It's just the clothing that has something weird happening with it, and clothes and our domestic fuels. So hopefully with the changes that we've made over time here, we'll be able to get on top of a lot of these issues, and everything will start to work out for us. Our plantation is ready. We're going to set that up for oat. And while we're here, we do have scarecrows. So we're going to go ahead and put a scarecrow in there. And I do have 50 iron tools. Go ahead and do that. Okay, and that's a lot of stuff that we did a little maintenance on. We'll see if it is enough. But that's going to be it for this episode of Settlement Survival. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope we get some things figured out here. Have a fantastic and amazing rest of your evening, day, or night, and I'll see you again soon.